Next, you will explore pseudoscience and the problem of demarcation, how to tell genuine scientific inquiry from claims that only look scientific. In this session, you will first learn how to distinguish science from pseudoscience. Then, we will examine the key characteristics that make a claim pseudoscientific. And finally, we look at examples from computer science to see how these issues appear in practice. Science and pseudoscience can't be separated just by looking at the quality of their results. In science, ideas gain credibility because they are carefully developed, tested, and refined. Even when science is wrong, like Ptolemy's geocentric model, it can still represent the best knowledge of its time. Genuine science is self-correcting. It thrives on peer reviews, where work may be rejected, revised, or accepted. It welcomes criticism, suggests future work, and builds a maturing body of explanatory findings. Scientific claims are open to revision and embrace skepticism. The idea of the scientific method is to follow an objective, reproducible, and stringent approach. Pseudoscience, on the other hand, presents itself as scientific but lacks a valid method. It usually doesn't have a clear, defined question to answer. It often follows a preconceived conclusion, cherry-picks supporting evidence, ignores contradicting data, and fosters its own experts and believers. Its claims rarely evolve, and it avoids the kind of testing that could prove it wrong. In short, science grows and changes with evidence. Pseudoscience resists change and protects its claims. Pseudoscience claims tend to be vague, exaggerated, or simply unprovable. It relies heavily on anecdotal evidence and confirmation rather than rigorous attempts of refutation. Pseudoscientific ideas usually lack peer review and show little openness to evaluation by other experts. There is generally no systematic process to develop theories or test them rigorously. Take astrology. For thousands of years, it has claimed that the positions of planets and stars determine personality and fate. Unlike astronomy, it hasn't incorporated any new discoveries like new planets or exoplanets. Instead, it continues to rely on the same zodiac framework and preconceived conclusions. This illustrates a key trait of pseudoscience. It resists change, ignores contradictory evidence, and avoids self-correction, unlike genuine science, which continuously adapts as new data emerges. On this slide, you'll see topics often cited in discussions of pseudoscience. Phrenology is clearly nonsense. This pseudoscience draws conclusions about a person from the shape of their head. It also has deeply racist overtones and has been used to support flawed ideas of racial superiority and act as a justification for slavery. Throughout the 19th century, phrenology took many parts of the world by storm without scientific evidence. Additionally, you may be aware of astrology mentioned before, creationism, ESP, free energy, paranormal claims, and 5G conspiracies. Feel free to get down into the rabbit holes of finding out yourself what those are about. Criticism from the scientific community is not to debate beliefs, but to critically examine the methods employed. So you would review logical, methodological, and rhetorical foundations of these claims. Ask whether they are falsifiable, supported by systematic evidence, and subject to peer review, and replicable. Practitioners of these topics often dispute the pseudoscience label. Conspiracy theories are a subtype of pseudoscience and are triggered by major events or technologies, for example, COVID, 9/11, or 5G. And they commonly feature claims that lack evidence or cannot be tested. As you review each example, focus on the method. What is the research question? What is the claim tested? Is contrary evidence considered? Are alternative explanations ruled out? That's the standard that separates science from pseudoscience. When we think of pseudoscience, we often picture astrology or paranormal claims, but it exists in the world of computing too. In computer science, pseudoscience often shows up as big claims without big evidence. Feel free to watch the interview with Geoffrey Hinton, an AI pioneer who now creates headlines and hype about fear of AI. And there are many more. AI would become sentient, meaning self-aware with its own soul and agenda, despite no scientific test or framework that could even prove such a thing. Or software companies claiming their encryption is 100% hack-proof without a single peer-reviewed study to back it up. Some tools even promise to generate perfect bug-free code automatically, ignoring decades of research on why software testing is so complex. And brain-computer interfaces hype sometimes jumps from detecting patterns in brain activity to the unfounded idea that we can read exact thoughts. Then there are conspiracy theories, the cousin of pseudoscience, which thrive in tech spaces, like the belief that AI is secretly hiding its true abilities, waiting for the right moment to take over the world. The pattern is always the same: extraordinary claims without testable and verifiable proof. That's why, in computing, as in all science, we need to check the methods, ask for peer review, and be skeptical of claims that cannot be tested. As we wrap up, remember, pseudoscience often dresses up like real science, but it skips the hard work of rigorous testing. In true science, every claim must be testable, and no idea is beyond questioning. And in computer science especially, we need to watch out for techno-hype. Not every bold claim about AI, blockchain, or quantum computing is backed by solid evidence. Stay curious, but stay skeptical.